After the tragic events in the Savage Land, Peter Parker and his family were forced to go on the run, but whatever became of Gwen Stacy after losing Harry? Well, let's hop into the pages of Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 16 and find out together, shall we? So then, as we join the issue, it's April and Gwen Stacy is tearily looking over the grave of her departed husband, Harry. Now, we always knew Gwen in this new Ultimate Universe was going to be important, and this whole issue basically serves as a giant focus piece on her and what she's been up to both before, during, and after all the main Spider-Man stuff. You see, we end up flashing back to the day that Gwen heard about the untimely death of her mother. A death seemingly shrouded in mystery and regaled to her by her father, a man acting very strangely and who I don't actually think is a cop in this universe. Gwen's dad says that deaths like this will always hurt for the rest of your life, but that there will come a day when you'll smile and laugh instead of cry when you think of your dearly departed. And that because Gwen is a child, she can still remember her mother with the most rose-tinted of glasses before time could ever tarnish her memory, and that he hopes that Gwen will feel the same way about him when he is gone, for he is a man with many secrets, don't you know? After that, we transition on over to Gwen's first date with Harry. Apparently she didn't like him at all, mainly because she didn't like the ultra-wealthy, but sooner or later, Harry did manage to win her over. In fact, he was actually the one who fell head over heels in love with her right away, but their date was almost ruined when Gwen got a very important phone call. Apparently her father had been found. Yes, it would seem much like Gwen's mother. Gwen's father also died under mysterious circumstances, and it took her years to get his body back, and she only managed to do that thanks to the intervention of Mysterio. But wait, here's the twist within a twist. In this brand new Ultimate Universe, Mysterio is not one single individual, it is an entire group of 5 who trade off using the identity and powers every so often. Gwen's father was a Mysterio, and now that he is gone, his daughter will succeed him on the Council of Mysterios. Oh, but it gets so much better. Not only is it heavily implied that the Mysterio in this world is able to use actual real-deal magic thanks to an ancient amulet, but also these experiments into arcane forces mean that the Mysterios are actually very much aware of the role the Maker played in rewriting this entire universe to serve his likings. Wow, that's actually really clever, especially when we stop and consider that the old Ultimate Mysterio was also able to cross between universes. Now, eventually Harry and Gwen ended up getting married, and because of that, Gwen had to meet Harry's parents. His mother was very supportive, saying how much she loved the wedding and what a beautiful bride Gwen made. Norman, on the other hand, just had to Norman and said during the father-daughter dance that he thought that Gwen could do a lot better than his son. Gwen fired back by saying, "Yeah, I told your wife the same thing." They also seek to imply that Norman knew exactly what Gwen was up to and what she truly was. Though in this world, unlike in the main 616 universe, Gwen would end up having the last laugh on that, right? As Norman would die and she would end up more or less inheriting his entire company alongside Harry. Furthermore, and this might actually be the best part, Harry actually had no idea that Gwen was living a double life as Mysterio. In fact, he assumed that his wife's interest in alternate universes and tachyons was basically just pop conspiracy theory stuff, even when he shelled out a small fortune to get her a book written by Jericho Drum. Yeah, that's right, everyone. The ultimate Brother Voodoo was apparently the original whistleblower on this whole universe being the work of the Maker. Though, in fairness, his work was only theoretical, and Gwen and the other Mysterios, which actually includes Quentin Beck, never actually had a true name for the mastermind pulling the strings behind the scenes, until Gwen helped with the merger between Oscorp and Stark-Stain, meaning that she was able to raid Howard Stark's files and learn the dark truth behind what was actually going on in this new Ultimate Universe. With this truth revealed, the other Mysterios wanted to take this information to the public and hopefully allow them to rise up against the Maker and his cabal. Gwen, on the other hand, knew full well what a bad idea that was. Her father apparently tried to fight the power himself and ended up dead because of it. This is why Gwen went out of her way to battle the Maker and his agents via subtle subterfuge, be it slowly but surely pushing her own husband Harry into becoming the heroic Green Goblin, or funding Jonah and Ben's paper project, even supplying them with the files they needed to out the Kingpin and his involvement with the Maker. And for a minute there, it seemed like everything was going great for Gwen and her plans. That is, of course, until Christmas, when Mysterio came to her, probably Beck, though we're not 100% sure, to tell her that the Green Goblin and his sidekick Spider-Man had been kidnapped by Kraven the hunter and taken to the Savage Lands to be hunted for sport. Now, Gwen simply couldn't just launch a rescue mission right away. It seems that the Mysterio identity and powers really are a timeshare type situation, meaning that she had to wait 2 days before it was her turn. Thankfully, Beck, or whoever else is in the Mysterio costume, is sympathetic to her cause and as such was able to try and buy Harry and Peter some time by trying to set the Mole Man and Kraven against one another. This also means that security failsafe Harry talked about in the Savage Lands to protect him and Gwen in case something should go wrong or either one of them should be kidnapped didn't actually involve Mysterio at all. No, that one was 100% a Doc Ock joint. In fact, Gwen is horrified to discover that Octavius has been tailing her for the last little bit, and because he might very well be able to out her involvement with the Mysterio, she decides to fire him then and there. Geez Louise, I'm sure that won't come back to bite you in the ass at any point now, will it? Now, it's from there we see the big Savage Land finale, only this time from Mysterio's point of view. I feel 100% vindicated, having already guessed that Mysterio actually did step in and save Harry from that bullet that was meant to kill him. Oh, but that's not all. It was also Mysterio who got Peter so frightened about the safety of his family, he ended up running out of the Savage Lands and running out of New York City to try and protect them. It would seem that was exactly what Gwen wanted too, while Peter was very steadfast and heroic, showing mercy to Kraven even after everything that had happened to him. Gwen, on the other hand, is far from a hero, and after saving the life of her husband, she decides to turn the gun on Kraven, finishing him once and for all. Well, geez, I hope he doesn't have any kids out there who might want to try and avenge him, you know, grimly. This also means that the jig is finally 100% up, and Gwen is forced to reveal her double life as Mysterio to her husband. Obviously, Harry is a little mad at first, but he also loves her deeply and is genuinely stoked to be alive. In fact, being dead might have its advantages. Everyone is already assuming that the Green Goblin and Harry are the same person, but if Harry remains dead and the Goblin returns flying around, well then that will throw the whole thing into doubt now, won't it? In fact, now might actually be the perfect time to strike back at the Kingpin when he won't expect any retribution. And believe it or not, it's on that note right there the comic comes to a close, everybody, and so that was Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 16, and oh wow, another absolute barn burner knockout punch of an issue. I knew Jonathan Hickman is the type of creator who wouldn't just bring back Gwen Stacy in a story like this in a new universe all willy-nilly unless he had something really special for her to do, and oh man does he. You know, the old Gwen never really had much character outside idealized love interest for Spider-Man, mainly because she didn't live long enough to develop any more layers as a character. Hell, I was already loving what this book was doing with Gwen, making her a cutthroat CEO, having her be a supportive partner and ally in her husband's vigilante work, but this issue adds so many more great layers on top of it. Now she's working to try and avenge her father and reveal to the world what's really going on with the Maker, even if she has to end up breaking more than a few eggs to make that particular omelet. Hell, I thought Harry was morally compromised as a more good vigilante-styled version of the Green Goblin. But now we have secret society magic user Gwen, seeking revenge for her own parents' death at any cost. It's like, yeah, you got to live and get older in this world, but look what you became along the way. It's great stuff, solid drama. And I can't wait to see what comes next, especially as Peter will no doubt eventually have to do battle with Mysterio, or maybe all the Mysterios, who knows. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one another 9 out of 10. This is an issue we're all going to be talking about for a long time, and with very good reason. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, you know, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.